Good afternoon. Welcome to this post-lunch session at IIM Nagpur's Zero Mile Samvad. So we are going to talk about the future and what the future holds for us and what the future holds for the $5 trillion economy that we are kind of envisioning in India. So I'll briefly introduce the three speakers and with whom we are going to spend 45 minutes, an hour or so. So the first up is Mr. S. Subramanyeshwar. And Mr. S. Subramanyeshwar is the name synonymous with strategic brilliance and impactful brand building in the dynamic advertising landscape. As the Group CEO of Mullen Lowe Lintas Group and Chief Strategy Officer APAC for Mullen Lowe Global, he is not just a leading figure in the company, he's steering the course of brands across a diverse and ever-evolving region. Subbu, as he is better known as, authored and won over 142 awards, just like a cricket score, including prestigious recognition like the J. Shiat by 4As, American Association of Advertising Agencies, and the India FEs. He has also served as jury chair at the J. Shiat Awards. He takes great interest in brands, in academics, and finally, football. The second speaker that we have with us today is Mr. Sandeep Tanwani. Mr. Sandeep Tanwani is currently the Vice President for Home Care South Asia at Unilever. In 2022, Surf Excel became the first HPC brand in India to cross the $1 billion mark, and it's a landmark. Sandeep led Surf Excel for over a decade to make it the largest brand of Hindustan Unilever Limited while scripting the portfolio transformation. He has led category strategy, innovation, communication, and the P&L for fabric care and skincare brands, both in India and globally. Sandeep's team has won over 25 FEs in the last 7 years. Sandeep also serves on the XLRI Advisory Board for Marketing. Welcome, Sandeep. And finally, he takes great interest in cricket. So I don't know what sports you're into, Venkat, but I will try to figure out. Okay, the third and final speaker that we have with us is Mr. Venkatesh. He's the founder of Atma, digital art education startup. Venkatesh quit his comfortable corporate career to pursue his calling to help fellow artists pursue a career in arts. He has been commissioned to make portrait paintings of the likes of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, Hrithik Roshan, I can't believe Salman Khan, and Jacqueline Fernandez, among many others Bollywood stars. Venkat was also invited to speak at the prestigious NFT NYC 2023 conference. Venkat was featured on a billboard in Times Square for his contribution to the blockchain art community. So welcome all of you.
Thank you so much to IIM Nagpur, first of all, for organizing this amazing summit. I would like everybody to welcome the eminent panelists that we have. Please give them a warm welcome with a huge round.
Thank you.
I mean, I have to say that it's a pleasure and a delight of mine to be sharing stage with these two fine gentlemen who have been behind building billion-dollar brands, the likes of Surf Excel. So, very quickly to start with, when you talk about brand building, sir, I would like to ask you, Mr. Subramanyeshwar, how do you
can call me Subbu.
Okay. Subbu, sir, how do you look at building a brand in the age of technology, specifically when AI is taking over the landscape in all fronts? You often talk about brands to stands. In the book, you have mentioned how people often buy into things and not buy things. And would you please elaborate on that a little bit?
See, the idea of building brands, something that I was conversing with you yesterday. I always keep having this passionate argument with the CMOs and people like Sandeep and many others. I refuse to believe that brands are part of marketing. Okay? Marketing is a subject that got created about 90, 100 years ago or 80 years ago. Brands have existed in this universe much before marketing as a subject came into our lives and gave us a construct. Okay? Brands have existed for thousands of years. Every religion is a brand. Every god, goddess is a brand. Every city is a brand. And if you happen to be born in India and if you happen to be a Hindu, you have a brand for every purpose also. Like every god, goddess has a different purpose, and then we pray for that purpose. So brands have always existed. So brands, I always look at it as part of culture. Okay, we are products of culture, is exactly brands are part of culture. When you start looking at brands as part of culture, beyond marketing, not just marketing, then you can appropriate the societal and cultural innovations in the cause of brand, in the cause of building the brand. So that way, when I look at it, okay, the idea of building brands has always evolved with various things that have happened in our lives. Different kinds of technology have come into play. Even when I look at the technology of, say for example, like even before I come into AI and talk about it, look at the way we used to form relationships and used to connect brands with the audience. There was a time we did with the radio and print and then television, then came internet and then social media, and then we are talking about AI. Tomorrow it could be something else kind of. So you always keep pace with it. The fundamental idea of having a relationship, which is the brand, having a relationship between the audience and the product that I serve, product or the service or the entity, whatever we talk about, the idea of that relationship will always be sacred. That will never change. The manner in which I deepen that relationship, I want to deepen that relationship, or I want to increase the engagement or the excitement or the interest levels for that brand, those keep changing with the tools that I get into play. Because when people keep talking about, okay, now AI has come and how is it good? Of course, AI has come into life. And it will never be me versus AI. And it will be me with the AI. What do I do with it? Okay, what are the amazing things? Now, this gives me a lot of possibilities. Wonderful possibilities. These possibilities are there, amazing possibilities. And how do I use them to further build the brands? So that's how we look at it. And of course, it is, there are a lot of, actually there is something that I want to say and scare everyone, okay, though I'm a practitioner of building brands. The interesting part at what is happening currently is that we are hardly scraping the surface as far as AI is concerned. But there is a lot of noise that we are doing. It's interesting, right? Anything new comes, we love a new toy, and then love talking about a new toy. The actual thing, the real power of it, like what we're foreseeing is, I'll give you an example of, say, I was sharing this example with Sandeep and Venkatesh yesterday. Take the case of renewing your car insurance. How do we do it currently? Before the insurance comes up for renewal, the agent calls you up and tells you, this is what is up for renewal. Maybe like offers you a great deal. I'll say, go ahead and do it. We'll transfer the money. Or if we have time, we'll sit on an aggregator site. At best, probably we can process 10 or 12 or 15, okay, if you have time. So, and as AI gets deeper into our lives and we start depending more on the digital assistants, we will outsource a lot of this task to AI. Then the AI, in the same time that I take to process 10 or 12, AI will process potentially 250 or 300 and tell me which is the best insurance policy. And I'll say, go ahead, like from the back end, money will get deducted from the bank and then goes away. Now the question is, we have been trained to build brands for human beings. Okay, there will be a day you have to build brands for machines. That will be the one, that is when the inflection point happens. Interesting. And I'm still, like, I always believe human intelligence, we make machines more intelligent. And when as they become more intelligent, we'll become even more intelligent. Okay, that will always be the play. And that will be the interesting point to see, and how do we do it? And as I said, we will become more machine-like, and machines will become more human-like, and it will be wonderful to watch.
Sandeep sir, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would say, I think tech has always intervened at different points in time. When computers came, it felt like, oh, it will take away a lot of accounting jobs. It will take away a lot of the number crunchers. It never happened. In fact, the roles profiles change. but that job is now getting done quickly. It is, you know, the speed has changed. I think what AI will come and do is change the speed to market. It will explode the number of options. And that's why we will need to reskill ourselves saying how do we navigate those many options and those many choices that are in front of us. So fundamentally, I think AI is going to be like a co-pilot. It cannot replace the pilot, or you won't run it on autopilot. So it is a co-pilot, and the best way is to co-create with AI. Fully agree with Subbu there. And I think there are few areas in this whole marketing value chain which will get impacted more than others. Like even today, we are using AI for trend spotting, for seeing the trends. And now you can actually do trend spotting across the globe because the AI is able to help you a lot faster. However, let's say so far we have used IT to simplify things that are left-brained, a lot more analytical stuff. So data analytics has become very easy. What AI is going to come and do is be the co-pilot for the right-brained activities. So it's going to be a lot more potent. Creatively, you can actually experiment a lot at much lower cost, at a much faster pace. What does that mean? That we need to reskill ourselves to bring in completely new skill set which are unique to humans. We'll need to bring in more empathy. We'll need to bring in more creative judgment. And we'll need to build more consumer intimacy or people intimacy for us to see what of this is applicable. So actually, I'm quite excited with what AI has to offer. And especially in India, I believe that India is the cusp of something big, because what AI could do is explode a different kind of creator economy, which no other country can boast of, because of the sheer diversity that India offers. I mean, imagine AI getting into vernacular creatives. Now the solutions are text to text, text to speech, and then text to video. And imagine if the creators get this kind of tools in their hands, we can actually go down to every dialect, every vernacular language, and we can have a completely new creator economy which we have not seen. So I'm personally very excited about what AI can offer.
Agree with you, sir. The field that I come from in the art industry, what you mentioned about computers coming in, taking away analyst jobs, is exactly happening in the creative industry right now, where people are really worried. The artists are really worried that now machine is even able to do art. We often, maybe because of Hollywood, that we had this perception that robots will be the first thing that will get automated, and then slowly, the other areas, and finally, probably the last frontier will be the creative stuff that humans do. But the exact opposite is what is happening, and creativity is being taken up by machines. And like you rightly said, the other way to look at it is it can become a co-pilot, and artists will need to learn and evolve to be able to use these tools and then create something original, which again, a machine possibly cannot come up with that idea. Very true, sir. In this context, now when you say experiences also play an important part in building a brand, right? When you say there is text to video, text to, speech, etc., all the different technologies that are already there, how do you think these things will play a part in a holistic experience that a brand can build? Okay.
I think the experience will have to become a lot more richer. And I think that's where the future roles of brand managers and brand directors will go into, saying from just designing a product, can you start designing an experience? And that experience should precede anything else. Can you therefore help when somebody is buying into something, can experience be the currency rather than product and a transaction, which has been so far? And for that matter, the multiplicity of tools will help us redefine experiences. So just to give you an example is, when you're looking at an experience for Surf Excel, I mean, you can say it's a product brand, it's meant for washing clothes. But imagine Surf Excel having the proposition of Daag Achhe Hain can actually take you into the parenting space. And it elevates the conversation. And it actually says, oh, I am your ally in parenting. Let your kids do so many activities which will help them get life skills without the worry of being, getting them dirty, is a different conversation than selling a detergent. And that level of conversation can be a lot more richer when you have tools like AI, wherein you can personalize, saying, oh, for your kid, this experience could be interesting. Would you allow your kid to go out and play this? Or would you allow your kid go into painting classes? Those are the kind of personalization that AI can unveil for us. And that's where the richness of marketing comes in, because you're not just left to doing advertisement and doing a broadcast mechanism. You actually get into a conversation with the consumer and you're co-creating that experience. I think that richness is going to be fairly unique, and the brands which can own those experiences will emerge the winners.
Subbu sir, would you like to add to that?
Yeah. See, one of the things when Sandeep spoke about experiences, right? To me, that's one of the big changes that I'm seeing. There is a time, and probably it's still this day, the way we actually connect with the brands is we buy into the brand first, then you actually get the product in, then you derive the experience. For example, let me take any coffee brand, for example. Take a Nescafe or something like that. You have the brand, you bought the brand, and then you go and buy the product, you purchase the product. Then you come, you open the pack, and then you make coffee, and then you have the experience. What's happening is interesting when I see with younger people like most of you here, and with all the technology coming into play and creating wonderful experiences, people are buying into the experience first. Lovely experiences are being created around the brand. The brand experience is something that I want to engage with. It's beautiful, that's fantastic experience that they're offering. I buy into the experience, then after buying into the experience, then I pick up the product. Then I feel good about the brand. Oh, this is the brand that I love and I would love to stay with it. Or I don't want to be with it. So that's what is happening, and that's quite interesting. And that's the reason why today the aspect of when we talk about the brands have to get into doing. There's nothing like saying. You can't. Once upon a time when Sandeep mentioned about broadcast. In broadcast we said, we claimed, we said this is what it is, and then you got away with it. That was work. It worked wonderfully for a period of time. Today it's different, because it goes back to the same thing as Sandeep said about people wanting to participate in the process. I'm not just buying, I'm actually co-creating with you. And I want to be part of the process. And when you do that, now I have to, you want to be part of that experience, that immersive experience. To borrow from software, I would say that trick lies in cracking the source code and putting it in the hands of people. And your role as the marketing head, what happens is you're pretty much like a conductor in an orchestra. And then there are these different elements. People are doing. I can say what I want to say about my brand, but people are taking and doing their own things. Like take a brand, any brand, for example, take a brand like Coca-Cola, for example. At an exaggerated level, probably the company would have created 10,000 pieces of content on their own and then put it. And you go and see, there will be some 3 million videos or various kinds of content created by audience who are excited about the brand or pissed off with the brand or whatever it is. And everything influences us as audience. So that's where it is. Now you might as well give them, okay, they are going to do, anyway they're going to participate in it. If they're excited about the brand, let me give the source code and then see what they do with it. And if they can add back to the brand, and it will be amazing. So that's to me is going to increase more and more. And then increasingly the younger people, and they are into with gaming or this or that or various kinds of things. Everybody wants to participate and co-create with the brand.
I wanted to add one more aspect on the experience piece, and that's going to be a big trend going forward, is None of the brands are going to be crafting experience on their own. You will see more and more partnerships happening. What those partnerships do is make the experience absolutely richer compared to going solo. And let me give you a couple of examples to bring it alive. Quality Walls can have a tie-up with Oreo to do a specific offering which can be treated as a dessert. And these are two different companies. One comes from Cadbury's, other comes from Unilever. Surf Excel has tied up with Arsenal, which is a football club. Arsenal has its own fan following, but both the brands share the purpose or their belief that you grow best when you get dirty. Arsenal is all about hardcore training, going out in the field, training every day. So as Surf Excel is saying, allow that to happen. Now one is a sporting brand, the other one is, you may argue, it's a detergent brand. But the two of them coming together could give you a completely different experience. And Surf Excel could be sponsoring Arsenal training camps. Arsenal could be actually sponsoring, surf packs. And it could certainly be a very different complexion to the whole marketing dynamics which are happening. So this convergence will happen. This is a kind of partnership where like-minded brands will gravitate towards a similar promise. And Subbu keeps saying purpose or what they stand for. They will come together.
Yeah, when you say partnership, I think, again, if we throw AI in the mix and then say what kind of experiences will be the right fit for the people who are associated with these two brands, and how you can do that on the digital medium, what kind of experiences can you create, maybe something that we yet do not know. There is this influencer by the name of Karin Marjorie, who has almost 1.8 million followers, and we were talking about this example. I just want to share that. She essentially uploaded 2,000 hours of her own content onto an engine and turned herself into an AI. And then now people are paying to talk to that AI as if that is a person. Now these kind of experiences possibly are very much doable for a brand like Surf Excel, for instance, or maybe Coca-Cola. Maybe an Arsenal can also have a brand representative who will be talking to the fans, answering their questions. So yeah, these kind of possibilities exist. Now sir, coming to the smaller brands, the smaller teams that will pop up across the country in the coming few years, or people who are already working, do you think AI is going to play a role in making technology more accessible to them so that they are able to go ahead and build brands much more easier than what it used to take earlier? Be it creating content, be it the distribution, be it able to build their own brand's image. All of this, do you think this is going to be something that's going to be benefiting the young people who are sitting right here who wish to build brands of their own?
Yeah, I personally think it's going to be a boon for everyone because AI will democratize a lot of capabilities which otherwise only large corporates were having an access to. I think both, as you rightly said, AI will help the creator economy, and hence creation of assets will come down both in terms of cost, and it will speeden up the creation process. Whatever used to take 3 months or 6 months to turn around campaigns, you will do it in a matter of days. The third big variable in creating brands would be distribution, where the medium will become a big enabler. So if you were to look at content and medium as two big verticals, in both of them, there is democratization happening at a fraction of a cost. And as Professor Vadhva was talking about, saying once you democratize, the 10x effect starts kicking in. I think that is what will happen. And it is going to create a very healthy competition as, let's say, entrepreneurs come in. Even the larger brands will need to be on their feet all the time in order to keep raising the bar. And that healthy competition is always good for consumer. It's always good for unleashing more creativity. And therefore, I think it is going to be a boon in disguise if used well and if democratized as early as possible.
And okay, fine. Now you said about I would love to see more and more entrepreneurs happening amongst the students here. To me, I would say I won't look at it as a big brand and a small brand. Okay, A brand with an idea, a brand without an idea. Okay, that's what will happen. Because see, there was a time when you said there was this number one player, number two, number three, number 10 and all. The performance edge between a number one and number two, number 10 today has come down dramatically. Number 10 can come and knock off number one if you have a smart idea. So that's how I would look at it. See, I would urge anybody who is starting, anybody, it doesn't matter what your scale and size is. Everybody got to believe today you are in data business, you are in technology business. Whatever you manufacture, whatever you do, whatever service you offer, you got to believe that you are in technology business, you are in data business. Those two will help you craft everything that you do. Without that, and see, it's like, I'm going to use everything that I generate, whatever I do, whatever I generate, whatever I create. I feel what happens is, where we will reach a stage. I can see the beginnings of it. It's already happening. Every brand, whether you're big, small, will become a media brand of its own too, where you will have your own channel. Like you will become your own broadcaster, you will become your own content creator, you will become your own facilitator. Every brand will get into that stage. Because so much of content is getting created. Because it's about, the more experiences that I create, the more content keeps getting added. There's some interesting examples. Like there is something that I came across because I saw it personally about 3 years ago. I didn't even realize that. Okay, sorry. How engaging and how interesting are you as a brand? And that sustains the interest. But one thing is, never ever forget in this whole process of building a brand, and a lot of people get caught in this thing of like, I know it's about, you think it's enough to create a perception. You got to deliver a damn good product. Always. I can never get away with it. Delivering a great product is what keeps you in the marketplace. If you don't have, you don't even have a place in the market. After that, how engaging are you, how interesting are you, how great a brand you are, and all those things come into it. Otherwise, go on. Because on product performance, nobody is going to compromise today. Because technology is available to everybody. Everybody can raise resources. Everybody can create a damn good product. Okay. But there was a time we got away with substandard products in our country. But today it is not. It's not, it won't happen.
And people will not hesitate to tell you that.
Oh, they're not. It's a highly transparent world. You can't cover up for that. And you will be stripped in public.
Yeah, as the distance kind of reduces, and also the sentiments are all out there for people to see. People are just putting it out publicly, and if you are not delivering on your promise, I think you will be held accountable.
See, I keep saying that, no, brands are, if I borrow from, today everything is connected to politics, right? Like I always say, brands stand for elections every day in Consumer Republic. Consumers vote every single day. Today I'll vote for this brand, and tomorrow I may vote for another brand if I don't like this brand. Okay, so you got to be. It's like what happens in sports. I have to perform at my peak every single day, if I may exaggerate. So that's what is expected from brands. You got to deliver on your performance.
So in this scenario, I think we touched upon this yesterday also when we were speaking. Then how do you then evaluate whether a person is loyal to your brand, and how do you build brand loyalty when the barrier to entry is so small and there are brands all over? Somebody who has built a brand
Lovely
which is
question you
tested.
asked. Yeah. See, I said brand loyalty. We have grown up on brand loyalty, right? I guess like it's still part of your course. I keep asking, like, yes, there is a subject called brand loyalty, but also keep thinking about consumer loyalty. Okay. Again, there was a time brands dominated, brands dictated things to people. Today it's not. The play is far. It's completely evened out or leveled out. Okay, I have to consistently prove my loyalty to the consumer too. While I demand their loyalty, I've been asking, I have to. Am I consistently delivering value? When I mean value, it's not value for money, that's one part of it. People need to consistently feel that they're getting a great product for what they pay. It's for value for experience too. How engaging, how interesting, okay, is the experience that I draw out of that brand. So it's equally important because it's two ways. It's brand loyalty and consumer loyalty. Both have to go hand in hand together. You can't say like, you can't question that like the way it used to be earlier. It has to happen both ways.
Yeah. I think the paradigm has to shift in favor of brand at the end of the day is a promise, and how well are you honoring that promise? Anybody who's going to overpromise and underdeliver will get penalized. I mean, is it a human or a brand? It applies to both. And therefore, this whole paradigm of saying brand loyalty, I think we should kind of look for whether you trust the brand basis whether the brand has actually lived up to the promise. And anybody who is focused on consumer pain points, understanding them and solving them will have a better chance of a win, because this whole convergence and the way the industries are collapsing into each other's solution space would mean that you can't have just a category based brand who's doing one single thing. And towards that, whoever understands consumer pain points better and gives a better solution, as long as you're doing that, consumers will be with you. The day we don't do that, we are bound to actually pay the price for it. And there are a couple of examples in the Indian market of that. I mean, a lot of you would know the Cadbury's example, the warm controversy. After that, what Cadbury's did to win back the trust in terms of having foil on every bar of chocolate has won back the trust. But when that trust eroded, everybody left. So there's no question of loyalty. And to that extent, you know, it's a bit like, you know, how Subbu referred to it. It's a relationship. If you are a brand that I trust, you have honored your word for a longish period of time, I'm willing to give you a chance. But if you're consistently failing on your promise, then obviously you're going to see erosion of value, even for brands. So I believe that's how it's going to be spanning out.
You know, I want to add some. I want to add something to what Sandeep used, a beautiful thing called trust. Now, trust. Okay, when you look at trust, because many times we keep using this in our business. Trust comes from two things. Remember, there is an angle of competency to trust and character. Competence and character, both, you draw trust out of both. You're competent, you have to always competent. But if your character is like shifty, then you will have a huge problem. Sometimes like competence can go one or two steps here and there, doesn't matter. Okay, it's okay. Like people will say like fine. Someday somebody else can do a +1 or a +2 on you, but if you are a brand that you have been consistently delivering to me, I'll still the delivering the value. I'll still. But when the character is compromised, okay, that's what happened during COVID. I've seen COVID, lot of brands, okay, and people were going through enormous amount of trouble. Like you saw a lot of these funny ads, empathizing and sympathizing with people. Like people are saying like, I'm going through a mess here. If you want to do something, come and do in some real action, not giving some, oh, I feel sad about what you are. Okay. It's not that. You got to do something real. Like that's where the character and competence both come into play, and they create this beautiful trust.
So I've been told that the time is almost over, so I'll ask one final question before maybe taking a couple of questions from the audience. The question is, sir, in this scenario, when you say the character and consistency, both of these things are important. Now, when you say character, people are always looking at brands with a magnifying lens, and specifically in the context of AI now, how are we deploying AI in the operations or in our business, and how that is going to affect the workforce? Will that also start playing out as the world progresses, as people probably start losing jobs in the short term, and maybe over a period it kind of stabilizes? How do we navigate this in the coming future?
You know, Sandeep said a beautiful thing little while ago. See, one thing is like, yeah, some jobs will get replaced and new jobs will get created. Okay, more than the machine replacing the job is the person who can use the AI better. Okay, he will replace the person who doesn't use AI. Okay, that's what will happen. See, lot of evolutions and revolutions happened in our lives. Even when computers came into our lives, people said like, no human being will ever be needed. It's machines which will do everything. I think like the duel between computer intelligence and human intelligence has always been there. Will become even more pronounced. It will be wonderful. See, who makes the machines intelligent? Think for a moment. It's we. We make the machines more intelligent. And on top of that, machine acquires its own intelligence. That's a different matter. And now we are not going to sit quiet there. Okay, as the machine becomes more intelligent, we'll try to become even more intelligent. And then we'll make the machine even, again, more intelligent. That battle, the duel continues always. I always feel because human creativity will never go out of usage, because human beings are the only ones who have the power of abstract thinking. Machines can't do that and animals can't do that. So it will always come into play. It's a question, that's why it will never be this versus that. It's about together. Co-pilot is what Sandeep had used. It's together, what are those magical things, wonderful things that we can do, and how do we enhance the value and the experience, and then and give greater thing to people.
I think my own view on this is AI is not going to take away the jobs. Maybe you will not be doing the same job that the previous generation did. There will be a different change in jobs. And to quote Sir Ken Robinson, who was this authority on the subject, I mean, 50% of the jobs of the future have not even been created. Yeah, 20 years back when I kind of came out of engineering college, there was no job as a visual special effects editor. Today that's a high-paying job because every Bollywood film needs that. Yeah, but I mean, what I kind of want to reassure is that AI is not going to take away the jobs. It's just going to change the profile of the jobs that will exist in the market. It won't be the same job that our parents did. It will be a very different profile of jobs. And empathy and humanizing the brand journeys or the marketing journeys is always going to be with the humans. AI will take away everything which is automation and in terms of having speed to market. Hence, the skill set for future brand managers is going to be different. How well do you empathize? How well do you bring creativity? And how well do you craft solutions? And are you curious? Those are uniquely human. As long as you have those 3 or 4 traits, don't worry about it.
One line I would say, machines are good at doing, but not at being. Remember that.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for the insightful conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a very insightful discussion. Thank you, dear guests, faculty, and students for taking out time to make this session a grand success. We would now like to request Professor Rahul Seth to present the memento to our respected guests.
IIM Nagpur believes in sustainable living and lowering carbon footprint. To honor this commitment to the environment, esteemed guests, we have planted a tree in your name in the Simplipal National Park, Odisha. The certificates will be mailed to you shortly.
We would now like to invite two first-year students, Arjun Gupta and Palak Kakkar, to fill the air with mesmerizing musical notes.